Oh, oh man.
ALF is an acronym.
Alf is a series of alien misadventures.
Alf is something I never thought I'd watch.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fallingtower's Watch the First podcast. Another thing that you never thought you'd watch. The podcast in which we watch the first episode of a series so that you don't have to.
But you still can.
We are in the midst of 80s sitcom month here at Falling Tower. So if you've got an 80s sitcom you'd like us to review, type it in the comments below, as well as where we can stream it, and we will review it. Maybe. And this week we're doing Alf, of course, the 80s sitcom. The first episode is entitled ALF. This was September 22nd, 1986. That's the same birthday as Bill the Thrill
86.
Hutchins. Shout out to Bill the Thrill Hutchins this episode.
I wrote down 87 for some reason. I probably just wrote it down wrong.
Our very special guest today, everybody, is meteorologist Katie Nickolaou.
Hello.
And that's why it's going to be a good day.
Aww.
It's also going to be a good day because all the way from Duke University and teaching us all how to clap silently, Dr. Noor.
Hello, always a pleasure to be on Falling Towers. Watch the first of things. Hey.
And my name is Ryan T. Right,
Sorry.
extra fun day. My name is Ryan T. Husk, everybody.
Hey,
For
Ryan.
80s sitcom month, I'm wearing a different 80s shirt every episode. Right now, last week I had Guns N' Roses.
Oh, yeah.
Today I've got
Nice.
Neil Diamond.
Oh,
Neil
Very
Diamond.
nice.
we're coming to America.
I said, right? That guy. Katie's like, never heard of him.
Nope.
Thought it was
Is he
a
the one
ring.
who
to
did like Sweet
America.
Caroline or something?
That's the
Oh,
one.
yeah, good knowledge.
Okay. It's only because I played it in marching band.
He also does a couple songs that I was a little unsure about when he goes like, girl, you'll be a woman soon. I'm like, wait,
Oh.
like, why was I singing along to that when I was a kid? I'm not sure. Doesn't sound, I don't know. Anyway, but he's got a lot of great songs. Shout out to Neil Diamond. Let's get up into this. We're doing Alf, first episode entitled ALF. Of course, please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're listening in, give us a 5-star rating and a nice review because Katie's here. And how dare you? You better give it a like. All right.
It's a threat and a promise, yes.
She will bring the fury of rain clouds. She can control them.
Yeah.
That would make you
It was
really,
my,
really powerful as a meteorologist.
I have a weather D20 dice, and you roll it, and that's whatever you're going to get.
Nerd
that.
humor. All right. Mohammed, I don't know where to go. Can you tell us, please?
My breath smells funny. I think I need a predicament. No, I'm just kidding.
Ah.
This is where we predict what each of us thought of the show after watching it without giving away what we thought of it.
Mhm.
Mm.
All right. We've known each other, the three of us, for a few years fairly well.
Yeah.
We talk a lot. We work with each other. We do Zoom calls. We text sometimes. Katie's always sending me dumb jokes, you know.
It's great.
And I do like polite ha-ha reactions.
Polite.
So we know each other fairly well. Mohammed, I'm going to predict that you liked this show. By the way, everybody, shout out to Melissa Longo for suggesting this show. Melissa Longo,
We love her.
this episode is for you. You're our pal.
Definitely.
Aw.
Mohammed, yeah, I predict that you liked this show. I predict that you had seen it plenty during its first run. You were never too horribly impressed, but you were aware of it, thought it was fine, and that's about how you feel about it this time. Katie, you're good at this game. When I said we're going to be doing Alf, you didn't say, never heard of it. You didn't say, oh, cool, I love that show. You didn't say, oh, I think I remember. Nothing. You said, cool, got it, which shows you are a pro at this game. You didn't want to give it. You're already
Go,
planning
Katie.
ahead. You already don't
I've
want
been on
anybody.
here enough.
So I was expecting you to say I'd never heard of it because all I said was Alf. You didn't say Alfredo. You didn't say Alfino. You
It's
just
a
said
mob movie, Alfredo.
you just said okay, as if so. I feel like that means you've heard of it, and maybe you've somehow seen it. But I'm going to guess that you thought it was kind of beneath you. I think you're going to be right around the 3.5 to 4 range on this. That's my prediction. I think you're going to be like, it's okay, but I like things that are post 90s. Thank you very much. What do you think, Mohammed? Predictions?
Ryan, I'm sure you knew this show already. I don't know how well you knew, but I'm sure you were very aware of its existence. Maybe you'd watched it, maybe not, but I'm sure you were very aware of its existence. In terms of whether you liked it, I'm going to guess not especially. Not that I think you hated it, or the comment you like to say often is I wasn't mad that I watched it. So I think you're going to fall in that part where it's didn't especially love this. It's okay. Katie, I also think similar. I think you're going to be below the 5, but maybe not as low as 3.5. Just you're yeah, this could have been better.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to start giving away reasons, because then you guys will interpret that those are my reasons for something.
Ooh. Well, see, with you two, y'all are. I think you've had more time to watch the show, so I think you're both acquainted with it. Mohammed, I think you probably are on the warmer side of 50-50. I think maybe you're a 6 or 7, just because the main character, dad dude, you're wearing a very similar color palette, so maybe subliminally your brain was oh yeah, I like this, I'm gonna match it up.
Yep.
And Ryan, I feel like you're probably right in the middle of the road, a 5, because if Melissa likes it, I feel like you've probably seen it through her or something similar. So I'm going to go with Muhammad a 6 or 7, Ryan probably a 5.
You guys were born the same year, I think, right?
Yeah.
I think you and Melissa were born the same year, I think, right?
No. Almost.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
But you've heard about how
Maybe 2 or 3
Melissa
years old?
forces people to watch shows. You're aware of this.
Yep.
That's so she's not hiding it very well. Look, those are our predictions, everybody. What do you think? Do you think I liked it? Do you think Melissa made me watch it? Do you think Mohammed's got the whole box set at home? Do you think Katie was I've never heard of it and I wish I had now? What do you guys think? Let us know your predictions in the comments below or in the live chat. Take your time, no rush. Get it right, though. Dr. Noor's going to buy us a little bit of time by telling us what this show is even about.
I'll see what I can do. Willie Tanner is messing with a radio when a spaceship crashes into his shed with an alien life form, an Alf. Alf is a 3-foot, heavy, hairy alien who likes to eat cat food, or preferably just cats. He follows Willie's family around through their day, watching Sesame Street, lying in their bed, waiting in the bathroom, waving at the neighbor through the window, etc. When it turns out his ship can't be easily fixed, his planet is gone, and the army suggests they'll torture him if they can, the Tanner family decide that he can stay.
Wait a minute. Their last name was Tanner?
Danny? They
Tanner?
never said in the episode. I had to Google it.
like Full House. I wonder if they're related.
Oh.
Maybe they're the Tanners. Yeah.
Yeah. I had to Google it because I didn't say in the episode. I was I know they must have had at some point in time a last name, but
Well, like Alf, I'm lost, Dr. Noor. Where do we go next?
This is my favorite part of the show. So we call it Expectation. We spend a little bit of time on what we expected before we watched the show this time, and a lot more time on what we actually got as we watched it. Or as Ryan likes to say more eloquently, we like to compare and contrast what we expected with what we got.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I like the punchier version of that. The expectations.
Yeah. Muhammad really gets violent. We've been censored a few times on YouTube on his more violent ones, but hopefully this one will get through.
Yeah, especially the one time when I punched and it came through the other side. That was very problematic.
You reached out and touched someone. That's an old
that goes way back. That was the 80s thing, I think.
All right. So let's do that.
AT&T? I think it was AT&T or something like that.
I think so. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Reach out and touch someone. All right.
Old commercial key.
That sounds kind of weird too.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm sure I'll figure it out.
Dr. Noor, before you watched this first episode of Alf entitled ALF, what did you expect, if anything?
So I did watch this show when it was on. Again, not regularly, but I definitely saw it as it aired. I remember, at the time, I remember enjoying it. I think it wasn't a show I'd seek out. So I think Ryan's description was pretty spot on. But I remember more recently is I remember probably around 10 years ago thinking, hey, maybe my kids would like this show. And I remember playing just this first episode and they hated it.
Oh,
So going in, I was a little bit like, I'm guessing it's not as good as I remember because I remember that happening. And they were like, what in holy hell are you making us watch? So I do remember it was a sitcom. I remember Alf was just kind of silly. I remember the eating cats stuff. One distinct memory I remember is that the older sister was unusually nice for an older sister. That was something I remember. Like, yeah, she was just very friendly, very positive, very upbeat, and it's like, who has older sisters like this?
Yeah.
Muhammad's got some unsettled issues with older sisters.
I don't have any siblings, so it's not based on personal experience.
You just mean on TV shows and comic strips like Sally.
Or people I knew. I mean, I don't remember people just loving their older sisters when they were like kids.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Look, Katie, you don't have an older sister, I don't believe. I believe you got an older brother. But before you watched this first episode of Alf, what did you expect, if anything?
Well, actually, I am the older sister. I have a younger brother. He's just 2 feet taller than me and looks so much more mature. But even between the two of us, we never watched the show. I didn't know it existed.
Wow.
Well, when you texted me and you're like, okay, we're doing Alf, I'm like, got it. And I went to the store afterwards and I saw an Alf shirt. I was like, oh, is that?
Weird.
That what we're watching? Like, okay, now I understand somewhat what it'll be like. But yeah, all I saw was the Alf's face on a shirt, and that's what I based my expectations on. I'm like, okay, this will probably be like the Muppets. Maybe it's for kids. It's definitely 80s. That's pretty much the three things in my brain when we started watching it.
What are the chances that...
What was that?
You watch it with your brother?
No, I watched it with my brother's cats. So that kind of counts. I'm sure
you said we, so I wasn't sure if there was somebody watching with you.
I watched it with my mom.
Oh, with your mom.
Do you have less cats now after having seen Alf?
I mean, I have cats that have more rage in them, maybe, because I was cuddling them and they don't want cuddles.
Well, that's pretty amazing. What are the chances that we would say Alf and then you would see an Alf shirt? Like,
yeah, Five Below.
Nuts.
I guess I probably have seen it before because I go to that store all the time, but I never my mind was just like, you have so many other things to think about. Don't take time to interpret 3 letters. So,
well, let me tell all y'all what I expected here. Yes, I remember this show existing. I remember when I was a kid, it was like all the rage for a second. Just like Martin, the sitcom Martin. Just like Married with Children, there was a moment where each one of these kind of had their flash in the pan moment, or maybe it lasted longer and I just didn't know because I was a kid. But, the kids would be like, I think it was like Monday night is Alf, Monday night at 8 p.m., I don't really remember it. I remember that what he looked like, and I remember that he would go like, ha, that kind of thing. And I somehow remembered that he was from Melmac. Like, I was like, oh, I think he's from Melmac.
That's random.
And I didn't remember the characters though, everybody else. I just remembered that. So that's where I was. I remembered that it was supposed to be some great show. I don't remember if I saw it 3 times or 30 times as a kid, but I know that it was all the rage for a hot minute there. That's what we expected. Dr. Noor, lay it on us. What did you actually get?
Let me start with the positives. I mean,
oh boy.
It makes it sound like there aren't many.
Yeah. Let me just knock those 2 things out of the way before I destroy the show.
3. So one
The
every 10
pauses.
minutes.
Yeah, right. I mean, it was sweet, right? It was easy to watch and light. It wasn't challenging. It was like, okay, you could kind of tune in, tune out. You didn't really miss much. Um, the family was nice. Like, I wouldn't mind being their neighbors. I wasn't annoyed by watching them.
It's painful for you.
um, I just really felt like not much happened. Maybe it's just because it's the pilot episode. They were focusing on setup, but like not much really happened. I mean, like he crashed and then he stayed, and that was kind of the whole plot of the episode. There wasn't really much else to it. I had like two moments I wrote down that were funny, like what I actually thought was like worthy of comment funny, as opposed to just like it was above that level. It just felt like there was two things about me. One was that it felt like the entire show was wholly reliant on the gimmick of Alf is an alien who talks a lot and is kind of like, it's supposed to be funny in a kind of almost rude sort of way. It felt just very reliant upon that, and it wasn't funny enough for that to be something to really hold me. The other thing which caught me was just how completely uncurious the family was. Like, there's an alien who just crashed into your house. Like, do you have like a million questions about like life and things like that would be worth asking? This alien who just crashed in your house, like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, you can stay. He's kind of like a new pet. What? So anyway, I'll pause there and let Katie go next and say her thoughts on the show.
Well, I'm very similar to you in the family just seems kind of, yeah, this is it. I mean, maybe it's just because I'm a Star Trek fan and an Orville fan and just an overall sci-fi fan. But like, if I had an alien crash into my house, first things first, we're breaking out the tarps and we are covering up any evidence. Like, I don't know why. The thing that irked me most in this entire episode is the military man comes up and he's like, "Oh yeah, we heard that there might be an alien in this house." It's just presumably a spaceship that's just hanging out of their garage. What? But
We all have
kinda,
helicopters.
exactly. It's called a spotlight, people. I went in and I was going in. I was like, okay, this is an 80s show and it's a pilot. So the bar was kind of lowered a little bit. Like, you just take what you can from it. And what I got was a very 80s show. Like, oh, yep, the sister, the brother making jokes, the mom being uptight, sort of thing. So it was kind of just like you get what you expect a little bit. But I did enjoy the humor a little bit more. Mostly, I think it's because I own cats. But that part, yeah, I really enjoyed the cat gags.
All right. Kind of like when the cat was clearly thrown out of the kitchen, not jumping out of the kitchen. The cat was like, fine, I'll go.
What poor PA had the job of just being like,
Cat tosser.
But the cat took it well. What a
I'd put that
sweetie.
on a resume.
So let me tell all y'all what I actually got. What I got was, whatever. It was okay. It was okay. I was also very disappointed about, look, sitcoms, it doesn't have to be realistic. An alien can crash land, whatever can whatever. The military guy can be stupid, the neighbors can be stupid. They can, but I'm like, but there's a line, and they just dance. They like did hopscotch on that line. You know what I mean? Like, they're also, nobody heard a spaceship crashing through a roof. Nobody heard that. And yes, they did. They weren't curious about it. They weren't like, oh my God, Alf spoke English. He knew all about showers and toilet paper and toothbrush and shit. Like, he knew what everything was. Oh, we like cats on my planet that has cats. My alien planet with a purple star, we like to eat cats. Anyway, so there was clearly was made, for simpler times.
That be an understatement.
However, I wasn't too horrible on it. And let's just get into it. For me, that was, like the very beginning, with his nerdy, wimpy voice, the night he came, blah, 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 blah. But that was maybe the cutest intro theme song I've ever seen in my life. I was like, oh my God, I did not realize that they had the cutest theme song ever. and he's just running around, and there's the kitty, and you could see the little boy going, "Hi, Alf," even though you can't hear it. I was like, they get 2 points just for that. I don't know. Did you guys enjoy the theme song, or were you like, this looks dumb?
Oh, that was great. Well, a lot of the 80s shows had really great theme songs. I actually kind of miss theme songs because it feels like we've lost that now.
Yes.
With a few exceptions, like Game of Thrones had a great one. So.
Well, and if you look, like, I think I'm more into like CBS shows and stuff, and they have NCIS, and it's just like do 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 do, and like really hardcore. And this is just kind of like, so it was a more relaxed entry into a show. You didn't feel like you were going into a rock concert.
That was adorable, and you guys know it. But yeah, I agree with you, Muhammad.
I was thinking like, this is definitely going to be the intro sequence that you use, right?
Yeah, but it's true. Like, we don't have these cute intro songs anymore, do we? Or is that like a lost art?
It's it's around, but it's rare. Or even like we were talking about Knight Rider not that long ago too. Think about the intro to Knight Rider. That was really cool. Or the A-Team, like in 1972, a crack commander unit was sent in stone military court for a crime they didn't commit. There was like really great intros for shows back then.
Or what about the Incredible Hulk? You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Yeah, not quite as whiny, but yeah.
Back in college, we had this night where we would do a theme song challenge, and I would do it with my staff every year, and we would play this like 30-minute long YouTube compilation, and it's a challenge to who can recognize a theme song first. Yeah. And so many of them are from kids shows, and hardly any are from adult ones. It's like, guys, come on, just because we're grown doesn't mean we can't enjoy music. Like, come on.
Oh, and Ryan, last week you mentioned the Dallas one too. Do you remember like the music from it?
Right.
Thinking,
and I never saw the show, had no interest, but somehow that song seeped into my brain because it was so catchy. By the way, we do have a correction to make. Muhammad said that the Incredible Hulk, I almost said the Incredible Husk, the Incredible Hulk was not that whiny. I beg to differ. He was very whiny. He said, Mr. McGee, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. I was like, what is... I'd be like, yeah, let's see it, bro. Yeah, let's see. I'm not too worried right now, pal. I feel comfortable with you being angry, is what I would say to him, and then I would be wrong.
Have you seen that show, Katie?
No.
Okay.
WTF, the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, the end music kills you. The end music kills you.
It is every time.
Well, we don't want to talk about Alf.
I mean, I was going to say, is there that much? Muhammad, who was your favorite character in the Alf show that we enjoyed today?
I mean, from watching it this time, I mean, it have to be Alf because the others were kind of, milk toast. They weren't very interesting for this particular episode. I do remember, like I said, I remember the older sister being unusually nice and thoughtful and friendly and stuff like that. And I remember kind of liking that when I was a kid. But yeah, I mean, she didn't really have a role. I mean, Mrs. Achmonic was kind of interesting, the neighbor next door, but most of them just weren't that interesting. There just wasn't enough there, aside from Alf, of course.
Oh no, you're muted. Oh, there we go.
You, Katie?
I assume it's what are you thinking, Kate? I liked Alf. I enjoyed his humor, and I did enjoy the sister too being kind because it felt like a nice break from what you typically see in tropey family sitcoms. And so that was refreshing. I also just like how the mom is just like, okay, we're not going to do this. Okay, we're going to do this. It's like, okay, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
And of course the cat.
Right.
There it is. Lucky the cat. I was like, who do I like the best?
The
the cat. That's easy. I will give a secondary nod to Mr. Achmonic. He only had a couple lines. It was funny, though. And then I didn't remember them at all. But then when she was like being the nosy neighbor and she's like, I think that there's an alien or whatever. And the guy's like, hey, don't be so hard on yourself, ugly or whatever. He made like a funny joke. She said something like, what do you call something that's a cross between an aardvark and a kangaroo? And he's like, stop putting yourself down. And I like leaned in. I was like, oh my goodness, are we going to get another version of the Ropers?
I was thinking the Ropers too.
I was like, is this the Ropers? Have I been have I not known that there's another Roper's type in the show? But then
2
they were
weeks
gone.
ago, we did Three's Company on this show.
Yes.
Nice.
So that's what I was really hoping for, but we didn't get more of them. But maybe the show gets a lot more of them later. Maybe the Ropers come over.
I did have 2 things which made me like actually laugh. And that was the one was just a passing comment from the mom where she said, okay, we can give him a cat food can, a dented one.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. Like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't see why that matters, but whatever. The other one was Alf watching Sesame Street, and it's like, frankly, I don't get it either. Sponsored by the letter I? Like, is that-
Oh, wait. No, wait. He said, yeah, I thought actually that was funny. He said, brilliant. This and the letter I in the same day.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
Heavily sarcastic. Oh, because it was cow riding in a subway or something like that. Yeah, I agree. That was good. There were a few for me. Some not on purpose, like that the dad was using a wrench on a spaceship. It's like, what?
They have a perfect fit.
Yeah, what makes you say that they have a 7/8 wrench or whatever the hell? And also when Alf said, oh, I just turned the key to start the engine of my ship or something, like they have keys to like just the fact that like everything was just like, oh, let me use your keyboard or whatever. But there are some funny things that were done on purpose, like, that Alf line about all on the same day. When dude says we seem so human. They said Alf looks so human. He says, hey, no need for name calling. Kind of funny. But the very last line when Alf is telling them jokes and he says, here's another one you won't like. It's like, okay. Kind of funny. I think that's all I got.
like when the cat was thrown out the window and he's like, what's a quick one? Something like that. I was like, yeah, I say that about these two all the time.
Oh, wait, where I just found another one. Boy, oh boy. When they were talking about the song Born in the USA, and Al says, no wonder I didn't know it. I'm like, I see. There's going to be a lot of those jokes, I bet, for 7 seasons or whatever it is.
Is that how many seasons there were?
I don't know.
I need to know how many seasons they got. Like, if it was able to ingrain itself in pop culture, it has to have been more than 2.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was a while. I think it definitely wasn't very brief.
I feel like it's got to be like 4 seasons or something like that.
Yeah, like in the 4 or 5 range.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Checking. Oh my goodness, it looks like it's more. Oh no, it's 4 seasons.
Okay. Nailed it.
I thought you were going to be like, 15.
Yeah,
I saw the kids have kids.
Oh my gosh.
I just can't imagine that show lasting that long, even in the 80s. The 80s, they were very patient with shows, which worked out well for some shows. Like look at Seinfeld. Didn't do well for a couple of years, and then suddenly it just kind of blew up. Same thing with like Cheers. Some of the most iconic shows, the networks were like, whatever. See what happens. See if they'll like it. Just keep playing. They'll like it. They'll get used to it. But nowadays, it's like if something doesn't do well on the first episode or the first half season, they chop it. So even then, I'm surprised that this guy made it 4 seasons. Can I ask you, Katie, what was your least favorite moment where you just rolled your eyes?
The least favorite, definitely the military man being like, oh, we got an anonymous tip that you had an alien. It's like, first of all, there's no number to call for that. Second of all, you bring more than one person. And thirdly, just look on the roof. Come on. Like, that whole interaction, I was just like, oh, you stupid idiots. No.
Especially after all the questions too, like, what will you do if you get them? What was this? And what was this? Oh, we don't have one. Like, really? And you believe that? What?
Come on. At least come back with a warrant or something. Put some effort in.
I thought that the person, I'm assuming Alf was predominantly a puppet done by a puppeteer.
Yes.
And I thought that the person doing that was doing a great job. At first, I was like, how are they doing this so well? And I was like, oh, wait, puppets. The 80s got to be puppets. And then they would just have like a little person when he would need to, run over to the window or do something like that. And then he would get right behind a TV again, and somebody would do his little facial features. And I wonder if it's the same guy doing the puppetry as the voice. It would have to be, because the mouth and the movements were at the exact time as the voice.
Well, and when I saw it, because I thought it was going to be Muppet style, and you never really see the Muppets running, and then it's like full body shot, and he's running. It's just turned to my mom, was like, they got a little person to dress up in that. What? It was like, oh, that's actually really smart to have that even as a real life puppet, rather than to having him constantly be stuck just being puppeted from the base of the screen.
Although he seemed bigger when he was being puppeted, he seemed bigger. And then when we would see him running off to the other side, he looked tiny again. We're like, oh, it kind of gave me a different perspective of how small he really is. But when he was being like in that picture behind Muhammad, he kind of looks bigger. He looks like he might be
full sized.
I think they said didn't they say he was 3 feet? I think they said that, right?
Yeah, they did. They said 3 feet. But it just felt like he was bigger when he was being puppeted, just to my eyes. I'm sure he was not. They mentioned E.T. That was interesting, a sign of the times. And then the mom's like, yeah, but that was a movie. This is real life. And we're like,
oh, that was another just,
Katie, can you name all of the characters?
The mom, the dad, the brother, the sister, and Alf.
And the neighbors.
And the neighbors.
Army guy.
And the military guy.
An army guy.
And the kitty.
The kitty.
Achmonic.
I always write down the names so I could do it, but it's only because I wrote them down. I wouldn't have been able to remember them.
Me too. I wrote them all down.
Yeah.
Nice.
There were, I guess I could just generalize it and say the fact that the alien spoke English, the fact that the alien knew what a car and a key and a wrench and a cat was, the fact that they didn't really care that there was an alien. They just kind of explained it away like, hey, this will be fun. Let's hang on to him and lie to the army. I mean, it was too dumbed down for me.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. It's a sitcom. You're supposed to just sit back and go with it. Who cares? Like Third Rock from the Sun, for example. Right? They're aliens, whatever. But I don't remember seeing the pilot, but I would assume that they put more effort into actually making it slightly more believable or realistic or something like that.
I mean, I think in Third Rock they would assume the shape of these humans in particular because they're intending to come there. So it makes sense that they would know something about the destination, as opposed to just like having to crash on the shed,
Yeah.
Also, and this will be my last thought on this, they did that mom wrong with that hairdo. That was messed up.
So wrong.
That was
very late 80s.
Up.
Very late 80s.
I was like, you guys, nobody deserves that. Was it because she asked for too much money and you guys are like, fine, give her the fucked up hairdo?
I was like, this looks like some of the Beverly Crusher season 1 and 2 looks. So,
same
did
years,
they just
right?
give that to? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, was it the same makeup artist?
It was so bad.
Oh my gosh.
I'm looking for right now. Is that it? Yeah. Oh gosh. Here it is. This is, I mean, that's just, and I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. But when I saw this, I was like, this is messed up, you guys. What's going on?
Oh,
why
gosh.
What's going on? Seriously?
Yeah.
It was kind of like, I don't know.
Intentionally frizzed.
I just don't even know. I guess we got to move on. Katie, let's talk about you for a moment. Can you save us?
Way rather talk about Katie.
I know. What's new? Tell us something good.
Oh, well, good omens. Welcome to our cults. That's my new show that we did. It was with myself, Charlene Schmidt, Brandy, and Jillian. 2 of them I went to college with. One of them I listened to her podcast while in college, and we all came together, and oh my gosh, we would be so much fun at a bar. Like our group is insane. But we watched Good Omens season 1, then season 2, and 2 of them were virgin viewers, and 2 of us are the cult leaders because we're fully invested in it. And it took off really well. Our videos have gotten several hundred views. I'm like, oh my gosh, people watch. So that's been really fun. And we're still doing Order of the Blue Lotus. We're on season 3 of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and we're hoping to get done with that before we turn 30. At the rate we're going.
Avatar: The Last Airbender. I have memories of watching that first episode. Everybody check out our review of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I don't remember which one that is, but Michael Kenyon Rosenberg made a very powerful quote for that one. And I believe because Dr. Noor suggested this show. So we watched Avatar: The Last Airbender for Dr. Noor and Muhammad. Do you remember what Michael Kenyon Rosenberg said about your favorite show?
He said it was for babies. Hard X.
Exeno.
It is true. The first episode was not the best episode, though. It definitely was one that built. Like, first season is okay. Second season is really good, and third is like, oh my god, this is the best ever.
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
just show him the bloodbending episode.
Oh yeah, that's definitely not for babies. No.
No.
Or so Katie loves that show, and she's got so many random fandoms, right? And this is one of those fandoms. And you mentioned you used to listen to Shar Schmidt when you were in college. What was that first conversation like where you're like, dude, I used to listen to you all the time? And she was like, that's kind of creepy, but also kind of cool.
Well, it's great because I remember we were doing, I think it was a Star Trek and Chill. And I logged in and she was there. And I'm just like, holy crap, that's Charlene Schmidt. Oh my gosh. I was just like, no way. So I was like, hi, I watched and listened to your podcast for years. You're so cool. And now it's like, I just text her random memes. So it's so awesome. And it shows how this community interacts together. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Everybody, Avatar: The Last Airbender for us was episode number 83, WTF number 83. If you want to watch our review in which Michael Kenyon Rosenberg rips Muhammad's heart out and destroys his favorite show of all time. Anyway.
It's my favorite of all time, but I do like it a lot.
It's your favorite.
It is so good. We still have to have you on for another episode in season 3.
Oh, 100% in. Anytime. Especially season 3. Holy moly.
Oh, yeah. Ember Island Players. We'll write you down.
Oh, yeah. When did Jet get killed? I forget.
Oh, gosh. That was season 2.
That was season 2. Okay,
yeah, that's season 2. Everybody knows that, Dr. Noor. Everybody. And then that's when he went. You remember.
Yeah, that's right.
It was that whole thing.
The air and the water.
Yeah. Katie, you make a lot of funny videos, by the way, and I keep waiting for the next one. And every once in a while I say, all right, is it? And I don't remember what you said. You said something like a week or 2 ago. And my first thought was, is that going to be her next video?
Yeah.
Is that going to be her next? So I don't know. Are you preparing anything?
Oh yeah, I have this book that I keep all my TikTok ideas and stuff in, and I'm gonna make more. It's just life has been insane. Like this month alone, 3 of the 4 weekends I'm at Comic-Con. So I'm finding the time. But yeah, the next one is definitely going to be how lightning can strike you while sitting on the toilet, and just fun chaos like that.
You have to mention your cosplay from the most recent Comic-Con. That was great.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I just got back. I did Doodle Bob for the costume contest, and I actually got the Judge's Choice Award. And I made so many people laugh. JG Hertzler, I met him, and he actually knew who Doodle Bob was. I'm just like, and so it was great. I screamed. Like, I was amazed that I have my voice today, because I was screaming like, "My me, at least like 200 times, and I can feel it right here.
Is this Doodle Bob? Let me see.
Doodle Bob.
That's this thing?
Yes. Yep, that's the one.
It's like a SpongeBob square butt, but like with a dude, like as a doodle.
Yep, he was like in one episode, and he was this evil scribble. And Tom Kenny, who voices SpongeBob, was at this con, and I got to meet him in Doodle Bob. He thought it was the
Oh,
coolest thing. And the animator who draws Doodle Bob was there, and I got to meet him. He
Wow.
wanted his picture taken with me. I was like,
wow.
so that was
That's
so much fun.
sounds fun. Dude, every time you guys say so, I have to look it up. I cannot keep up what you guys say, but I learn something new every minute. Katie, can you tell everybody where they can find you online and see your pictures of yourself as Doodle Brain?
Yes. You can find me at weather_Katie. I am on all the social medias, but I'm very active on Twitter right now because a lot of Star Trek people are liking my stuff and I am on a roll. And I'm also so many random fandoms on YouTube.
All
Great
right.
person to follow.
Yeah.
I think Mike McMahon said that I was the cutest, most genuine reaction to one of the scenes in Lower Decks a few weeks ago. I'm just like,
He was probably right.
oh yeah. I was so happy that the cloud was spinning anti-cyclonic or
Oh
cyclonic.
yeah, I remember you guys talking to each other on Twitter about that. That was really
I
cool.
was so happy.
Thank you for voicing what we were all thinking, Katie.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move forward. Muhammad's ready for it. He's doing the karate chop.
Bottom line.
Everything he does is violent, practically. It's the terrible twos, the final two questions of the show. Question number one
I'm
is,
staying out of this debate.
on a scale of 1 to 10, Dr. Noor, what would you give this first episode of Avatar, The Last Airbender? No, I'm just kidding.
If it was that, it would be a lot higher.
Alf, ALF.
Maybe not for the first episode, though. So this is definitely just about the first episode, not about the premise or the series as a whole. For the first episode, I think I'd give it a 4.6. It just, it didn't grab me that much. I was kind of like, it's okay. I found myself a little bored at the end, or I felt a little like I'm not mad that I watched it, but I felt a little disappointed.
Well, Katie, were you mad and or disappointed?
No, I mean, I watch shows like Home Improvement and Little House on the Prairie, and just shows that, they're funny in their moments, and sometimes they aren't. But I took it for what it was, and so I just gave it a middle of the road 5. I neither was super into it or super disinterested. I just was like, it's Alf.
Very close.
Yeah. I feel like we're all kind of struggling with what to say about this show because it's not like it was terrible, but there were some terrible things, but in a sitcom, they're kind of forgivable, but it's also like you kind of also have to be funny, and it was only kind of funny, and it was only kind of interesting, and the characters were only kind of characters. I gave it a 5.5.
Wow.
Fairly high. My reasoning was, I put in my notes, I said, it was chill. It's easy. It was chill. It wasn't obnoxious, but I did check how much time was left a couple times. So there were definitely a couple times where I was like, okay, how much, and I'm like, God, I'm not even halfway through this. It wasn't like excruciating, but I was like, this isn't going to be an enjoyable experience. It's just going to be, I'm just going to get it done. And I did get it done. And mercifully, it was only like 21 minutes or something like that. So 5.5.
Within a point of each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. That is impressive.
So, Dr. Noor, we've got to move on to question number 2, which is, and I know it's going to be a resounding yes. For the purposes of this podcast, we all had to watch the first episode of Alf entitled ALF. But now that the podcast is over and we're free to move about the internet, Dr. Muhammad Noor, would you, of your own volition, watch the second episode?
No. Not based on the first. I mean, I did in the past, so obviously it happened then, but today, if I started this and I saw that first episode, would I continue on? No.
But sounds like a maybe.
No. It's just no.
What about you, Katie? Are you dour like Dr. Noor here? Or are you upbeat and you like fun shows?
I'm actually a yes, surprisingly.
Ah.
Mainly because it has to be in like the right setting. If it's like 3 a.m. and I have insomnia and I'm flipping through channels and I see Alf, I'll be like, oh yeah, easy choice. So yeah, we're going with a yes.
Makes sense. Like the chill show. You're like,
Yeah.
it's not going to break my brain, but it's not going to keep me up. For God's sakes, it's not going to prevent me from falling back asleep.
I don't have to think. I don't think anyone's going to get murdered or killed or anything. So it's like, I'm not going to have emotional distress watching this show.
That's the same thing.
Tune it back to last week's and watch Newhart instead.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's the same thing the writers said. We don't have to think. We don't think anybody's going to get killed. Look, everybody, for me, yeah, it's a no. It's a no. It's a no from me. It was a pretty easy no. I didn't hate it, but I'm not going to watch this. No way. I won't like harm myself by how quickly I change the channel if I see it, but I won't consider not changing the channel. It'll be
maybe you would stay through the theme song and then change it.
Oh, I would watch. In fact, I may watch that theme song again right now because it was beautiful. It's very nice.
So watch the first 3 seconds and then leave.
Yeah, they should make like greeting cards or something. It'd be nice. That's it, everybody. It's 2 no's and a yes. It's a 4.6, a 5, and a 5.5. I think we're all pretty close on it. If you'd like us to review an 80s show, in the comments below, type WTF and that 80s show. And parenthetically, please tell us where we can watch it, like Amazon Prime, Paramount Plus, Netflix, whatever. And then we'll review it.
Maybe.
That's it, everybody. We will see you next time. Please make sure to like, subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, a nice review. Tell your pals about this. Leave us some comments with your thoughts. We really appreciate it. Keep the conversation going. Go check out Meteorologist Katie Nickolaou. And what I'm trying to say is this podcast was, here's another one you won't like.
This podcast was a fun chance to chat with 2 of my great friends.
Aw, this podcast was a little bit funnier than the first Alf episode.
Yep. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Just remember what Mr. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg always likes to say.
He likes to say, don't forget to be an organ donor and don't forget to watch the first of things.
All right, everybody. Freeze frame like what you would imagine cats taste like. Right. I don't even know. I'm like...
That shitty smile and pretend